Wow, this is Jim the Keys bartender. Cool, man. No, it's not cool. I just went halfway through. It looks like I started my music right uh, 30 seconds into it. But that won't bother me. I'm Jim the Keys bartender. We're in Key Largo, back to back live shows, taking your mind off things. It's sunny, it's windy. We have tropical depression Ada floating out there, coming off the Yucatan Peninsula, turning towards Cuba, and then supposedly up towards Florida. But right now they're calling for 60 mile per hour winds, which is not anything to get your shorts in a twist about. I love that. Get your shorts in a twist about. I've felt that before, where your underwear gets twisted, but it's not that all. What kind of underwear are you wearing that your shorts get all twisted up? Is it twisted up like testicular torsion, which is no joke, guys? I've heard about it. I told you about a friend of mine that had it. It's when your balls get all screwed up, stuff like that. Um, I just figured now would be like a good time to talk about anything other than what's going on right now at the moment. We're waiting for uh, some permanence and some things to happen. But at this moment, we should take our minds off it because there's nothing you can do about it. So, I like to talk about what people used to think was a way you would declare that you're a normal person. There was a guy at the bar who says, I don't drink Jägermeister and cocaine. What does that mean? You don't do them together, or you don't do either? And it doesn't necessarily make you a good or bad person doing either one. But it's interesting that he made that public announcement. But think about the things, how they changed in just a year. I'm looking at my old shows. I was talking about the fucked up exchange rates at Dave and Buster's. 400 points to get an eraser, 400 tickets, 400 fucking tickets, or 500 tickets to get an eraser. That it's when you go into a Dave and Buster's store, it's like you're going through hyperinflation in the Weimar Republic of Germany in the late 1930s. In the early 1930s, or to Argentina or someplace like that with hyperinflation. Now, hyperinflation occurs like when one week, let's say you have 100 base units of your currency, and the next week you need 10,000 of them to purchase the same thing in 100. That's hyperinflation. And when you go in a Dave and Buster's fucking award store where they have the decent stuff comes out to be, I want to try to think, 5,000 tickets? No, maybe more. There's 100,000 points for a Roomba. Let me see. Your chance of hitting 1,000 points is 1 in 150. If you hit 100 in a row, you pay between 7. You'd have to, if you maximized your point totals every time you went in, you barely would maybe break even than if you just went and bought the goddamn Roomba. You probably would. That's if you hit it each time. But I would say if you did your shopping at the Dave and Buster's store, you are definitely on the losing end of that exchange. So, here's another one. The first black sheriff in Florida was elected in Key West in 1888. Charles F. DuPont. Oh, that's very interesting. That was one of my points, and this is from previous. Okay, let me see. Prior to a Taylor Swift stalker was arrested several weeks prior to breaking into Swift's apartment. It was Ocean Reef members utility smoking pot. Alvaro Cisneros. Wonder if the idea came to him while he was smoking pot. Okay, Alvarado Cisneros was smoking pot, and he was in a member's utility closet. I guess that was, huh? Oh, I guess the guy was arrested up at Ocean Reef was a Taylor Swift stalker. Let's see, just another reason to not fall in love with Taylor Swift. Okay, I had a coworker who kept a grievous injury logbook in her head, and she just, as soon as someone did something to her, it was done. It was set and cast. I'm going to get this person. Just think of that. Every time they have grievous injury, that's Rain Man shit. Where you keep a little book and say, oh, on this date, so-and-so did that. What a horrible way to think about life. And, speaking of horrible ways, what message are you sending someone when you give them a gift certificate for skydiving for their birthday? If they're someone you're in a close relationship with, I think it has to do with, depends on what you think a suitable gift is. Because giving someone a skydiving certificate is not that bad. Now, if you're deathly afraid of skydiving and you think every time you go up there you're going to kill yourself if you go skydiving, giving someone to someone you care about when you feel that way is in direct correlation how much you care whether that person falls to their death screaming, skydiving. And skydiving is a horrible death if you think about it, right? You jump out, I don't know, 10,000 feet? Is that 5,000 feet? When do you jump out? But they fall for a while, and you reach terminal velocity, and terminal velocity doesn't mean that's the velocity that'll kill you, which it will. It's the maximum speed you'll reach before the air pressure pushing down on you will be pushing back on you. Actually, gravity's pulling you down, and the air pressure starts picking up. So you reach your terminal velocity, could be something like 175 miles per hour or 200 miles an hour. But if you're, I guess it depends on how high you open up your parachute. Wherever. So if you open up, let's say you're jumping from 10,000 feet, and you open up your parachute after 2,000 feet, and then you're going down for. If it doesn't open at 2,000 feet, you got 8,000 more feet to contemplate your reserve chute not working. And then you can think about all the other things. You start screaming for a while, And I totally lifted this from a comedian, but you just start screaming, and then all after a while you just go, well, I'm dead. And then you're gonna stop. You go, well, this isn't really doing anything. How long do you scream for? I mean, some people can scream for the whole time, right? They'll just scream. You've seen them go into young girls or guys, even guys, they scream. They just keep on screaming. Other people, they just give up and just stop screaming, then look at watch. And I have a feeling that's what it's like when your parachute doesn't open. And that's got to be a horrible way of dying. So, or let's say, what's another one? Freezing. That's a slow way too. If you're locked in, let's say, a deep sea freezing. It's funny because, no, it's not funny freezing. Freezing is not funny. But supposedly it right before you freeze to death, you have feelings of euphoria and stuff like that. But, that's kind of interesting because people say, I guess there's people that are brought back with severe frostbite and stuff like that they talk about it. But when I am bartending, I notice that when you go into a walk-in, if you're by yourself, and luckily I don't have a lot of bad people that listen to, I hope you're not bad. You shouldn't be. If you are, so you change your ways. Reevaluate your ethics and morals. When I was going into the walk-in fridge when I was by myself, I realized that on one of these refrigerators I was going into, that there was no release from the inside. And if someone decided to lock the door, that I would be stuck in there. Now, that was a walk-in fridge, so I probably wouldn't die, but I'd probably get some kind of, after a couple hours, hypothermia. But I think, especially at the restaurant, someone would open the door. probably within a half hour. So I probably wouldn't even gotten to hypothermia. But that'd be a great way to be robbed. When you say a great way to get robbed, just go in there, lock them in there, rob the place, and then go out. They do that. They do that a lot at restaurants. They put people in a walk-in and then put a lock on it, and that's kind of like usually an MO of people that rob restaurants. But you don't see a lot of restaurant robberies anymore, except for like on Pulp Fiction or something like that. And there, even on that one, they kind of fucked up because they had two hitmen there that could have if they decided to shoot him up, they would have, John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson would have killed Tim Roth and Amanda. I forgot her name, but her name's Amanda. I know that. Okay, and yes, I am reviewing past shows. Everglades City. At one time, one of the most corrupt cities in the whole United States. The whole town was arrested back in, what was that? 1983. When I say the whole town, 28 people were arrested. But there was only like 426 people. So more than half the fishing boats were seized. 200 law enforcement agents came in for arresting because they were involved in the drug trade. 1986, and they were in city government, the police, and all that stuff. They were involved. So, the thing about small towns is when you have a corrupting influence, they just have a bigger impact, and you don't have that many people looking over your shoulders. You got the whole town, perhaps, maybe, but how hard are they going to look at it? If you had a big bureaucracy and somewhat benign bureaucracy. This is a good thing about bureaucracy. People talk about small government and big government. My belief in big government is when you have like a good inspector general, someone who's non-partisan, and just say, this is how it's supposed to operate. This is the kind of ethics you're supposed to have, the morals. You're not supposed to take money from vendors. You're not supposed to sleep with your co-workers. No taking extra money out of the treasury. Things like that. So, what's this? That's Everglades City. The cost of higher education. Yes. Remember we did talk about this, just online schools. University of Phoenix. What a fucking ripoff. These online universities, a lot of companies will not accept a degree from online schools as of March 2020. Now, because a lot of schools are now online, I'd have to think that whole thing out. But then again, think about all these schools making bank right now, not having to have kids in class, having that, paying their teachers, don't have to. Facilities management is virtually nil now. You just come in and clean, make sure the roof doesn't leak. If it's getting cold, to make sure pipes don't freeze and things like that. So a lot of universities are already online. Some are in person. But they would used to charge so much. And you think, what the hell? They're just these for-profit institutions. Because some of these colleges used to be non-profit. But a lot of these online schools, they're for-profit now. And they charge astronomical sums. And they go for people. And they're very creative on how they think of financial aid. Loans and things like that. Since student loans have kind of been less federally guaranteed and more private, there have been an explosion in student loans with a drop in the commensurate education level. That's what I believe. We have a Caitlin. This lovely girl. She asked if we had a good happy hour around. This is Caitlin. And we look at each other and said, define good. Okay. One of the local carriers rides a bike every day, feeds a cat. Oh, yeah, this guy. He's feeding the cats. And this Abby's calling me. What's going on? Okay. Hello? Okay, baby. Okay, I'll call. I'll call. Well, I'm recording right now, so you're on the air. I'll call you back. Okay. I mean, I'll call you by Blue Bamboo if you need anything. Call me on the company phone. Okay. I love you. Bye. Okay. Well, you see what I got. Her phone wasn't charging. I think her. Oh, maybe. Is this what happened? Is this power out here? Let's see. Let's plug this in. Maybe this outlet is dead. Look at me. Let's see what happens. No, the outlet's alive there. Let's see. I think some of these outlets are dead. Let's see what this is. Let's see. This side. Is this on? Okay. Ah! One of our outlets was dead. Isn't that sweet? Let's just change this thing here. And, okay. We just solved a little problem right there. And alleviated an issue. One of the chargers was out. So, let's see. Beres, one of our local rides a bike. Everyone, this guy passed away. Yeah, he ended up disappearing, and oh shit, when got a meeting next week, right? Okay. Um, this me. So Katie tells me to look at his. Oh, poor guy. He's had his ass hanging out. The guy used to feed local stray cats and things like that. It's been a year, I think. Pretty sure. I don't know if they ever identified his body, but he was sent up to the mainland, and I think eventually he was released, and he went out and he died out on the streets. Nice guy. Nice guy. There's at the beginning of this past pandemic in March, when everything shut down and they had the only place you really interact with people, because all the restaurants are closed and stuff, were gas stations, parks, and supermarkets. And you would at our local supermarket here in Key Largo, we have chickens in the parking lot. And after a couple weeks, if you recall, there was virtually, you'd see all the meat was gone, all the dairy was gone, all the paper goods were gone, things like that. And then you started seeing the chickens disappear. The regular chickens, you see roosters, but you see the chickens. There were actually people, and there's people. I guess they knew what they were doing. They were just grabbing the chickens. Now we said it's March, so now it's November. What are we looking at? In that's 8 months, and there is a burgeoning chicken population again. I don't know how that happened. I guess there was at least one chicken left, one hen that gave birth to another couple chicks and stuff like that, because there are regular hens walking around now. Until there's another shortage, and then we'll be out again. But you know about if you listen to the show, it's not unusual to see chickens, 4 or 5 foot iguanas. Now there's Burmese pythons. There's the poisonous bofu toad, which they also call the cane toad, that secretes a neurotoxin from its back. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. It will kill you if you pick it up and lick it, which you shouldn't pick up and lick a toad, but you can get very sick by picking it up and then having the poison seep into your skin, or it's not as bad as some of the really bad poisons, but it'll kill your dog, and it has killed dogs. So we'll move on from that, and then we have our raccoons, possums. What else? Oh, big fucking Keys rats, the wood rats. The wood rats are more akin to a rabbit, I guess, also, because if you look at their ears, the way they pop up, they're bigger ears. And they're very clean, the rats. When I say clean, they keep their dens very clean. They're not filthy animals, right? I know it sounds crazy. You're calling a rat a very neat rat, but that's what they are. So, this one comments back 2 pages, being punched in the fart box. Who's that? I don't know. Get in drinking shape for Poland. Drinking with okay. Bell of the Balls. My child is exceptional movement. Oh, that was an extra. The Bell of the Balls. That was. Everyone's thinking their child is incredible. Or C-SPAN. I know we're still resolving when we're not talking about it, but if you ever get a chance, if you want to ever feel smart, listen to C-SPAN for about 45 minutes and you'll be at least see 4 or 5 people that should be much less informed than you are. That is interesting. And it's really interesting to see the reaction of the person taking a phone call, because they have to listen to the same stupid shit or different stupid shit each time. You go, oh, there you go. Just nod and look. I mean, I do that at the bar when someone comes in. The earth is flat, and I'm just shaking my head. Oh, really? Blah, 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 and stuff like that. Whenever they say something about COVID and stuff like that. The other day, someone was talking about, oh, well, it's all bullshit and stuff like that. I'm tired of the mask. What do you think of the mask? And stuff like that. I said, I don't know. Europe seems to be closing down. Did we convince Europe to do it on our own? And stuff like that. I just leave them. And because you're talking to them, they just don't want to be talked down to. If you don't want to be talked down to, don't say stupid shit. Okay? You fucking morons. Dire warning about jumbo straws. What about jumbo straws? No, you can poke your eye out with one. Used to have these 2-foot long straws we use for this drink called the Volcano. Volcano's a rum punch. It's a Goomba Smash, which was Captain Morgan, I think regular rum, blackberry rum, blackberry brandy, apricot brandy, grenadine, and orange juice. And then you put a float of 151. It'd be shaped like a big bowl with a little reservoir in the center where you put the 151, you light it. So it looks like a big open volcano. And then you get 2, maybe 4. It should be a minimum of 4. But the thing about that thing, nowadays, this is post-COVID anymore now. Imagine sharing a drink with 4 people with a 2-foot long straw. And the straw is the issue. Because there's backwash that occurs all the time in any drink. When you're drinking a soda, a can, or anything. If you get all the liquid in your mouth and there's some that goes back, it touches your lip and goes back. Now with a straw, you're sucking up the liquid, and when you stop sucking, any liquid that you sucked into that goes back into the drink. And I'm sorry for grossing you out or that thing. But that's what I saw with the jumbo straws. And then you see people fucking drinking these big fucking volcanoes and poke, and they're getting drunk, and they start leaning in, and they poke themselves in the eye. That's the best thing. That's the best thing in the world. And they just let the fucking 151 burn in the center until all the alcohol is burned out, and then they dump it in the rest of the Goomba Smash, and you know what happens then. You just burn out all the alcohol. All you got is some of the taste of the stuff. So it's not, if you burn out all the alcohol, it doesn't mean everything disappears and stuff. There's still liquid in there, and the liquids remain. So that's it. So yeah, the straw thing, the real most dangerous thing about straws is about sea turtles and ocean life. They don't like that stuff. Fucking blind dates. How many blind dates? You got Tinder dates and things like that right now. How's that going to happen now? Are you going to have to show, I guess you're going to have to show your latest COVID test until it's over. And then, that's, I guess with those things, especially with Tinder, people's expectations have changed. You have people saying my expectations saying if I like the person, I'm going to let you know, and then we're going to have sex, right? Or some of these people say, I'm not going to. I just, you don't, you don't see these blind dates as much anymore. But then again, a lot of people aren't getting out right now. Oh, what was this? Research. Monkeys like Metallica. Music for animals. Yeah, that'd be my dog. My dog likes smooth jazz, but doesn't like. Who's the guy with the saxophone? I think we know the guy with the saxophone. I don't want to say his long hair. Kenny G. Kenny G. Not a big fan of Kenny G. Sing. I was at one time I was considering changing the name of the show to Old Keys Bartender, and I was hoping that wasn't skewing. I know how old I am. I was hoping it's not skewing my uh, audience a lot later. Okay, now here we go. What do we got? Emotional support dogs. Oh yeah, holy shit. The well, I spoke that. That's a recent one. Um, yeah, you got the big ass dog and stuff like that. Don't sit if you have an emotional support dog. Don't put your dog right in front of the fucking bathroom so people have to step over your dog. They don't realize your dog is not going to bite them, right? They don't fucking know. Let's see here. Evidence for my mental competence trial. Crazy ramblings interview with the Keys bartender's father, James. Maybe we can do. Oh, my dad. My dad. Oh man, he gave me words of advice. He's the one that told me about doing this stuff, making sure anything I do to take off, take off for take your mind off it. Think of local, think of things for your family. Just very important right now. Was it Stigmata or Sloppy Vampire Guy? Oh, the guy with the bloody guy came in and stuff like that. He says, "Oh, don't worry, it's not my blood." Oh, who gives a worst signature ever? Writing during having a stroke while being stabbed. Oh, the doctor writing during having a stroke while being stabbed. The murderer is burnt toast. Okay, I don't know what that means, but I'm just going over my old notes. Fat guy and urinal. Ooh, this is good. Oh yeah. How many? Well, I guess that is something that could happen. I guess when I was on a trip, was just noticing some weird stuff and what I wanted to talk about. Um, what was it? I was talking to a young lady just got out of rehab. Said she was nervous about returning to her home after 6 weeks. I wished her well. Oh, that was sweet. She was a nice looking girl. Kept myself a little bit about. Need to research on the shrinking size of airplane toilets. Oh yeah, god damn it. I'm not nearly the biggest person I know. I'm just under 6'4", and I was hovering around 230 to 240, and sometimes going over since the pandemic 240. I'm back below 235 now. But I found that whenever you close those folding doors, that once it's barely you get in there and then close the door. I'm just trying to visualize. I'm scrunching myself out and pushing in the door. So I'm not one to fat shame, but there was this guy when I got off the plane. This was years ago. This was last year, I think. The guy gets off, and there was a guy in first class. I remember him because we were both. I was right a couple rows behind the guy from first class, and we both got out of the plane quick. I helped some people off and stuff like that, and I guess I moved quick. And we got to the nearest bathroom, and there's the guy walking in from first class, and there I am. And I go to the urinal, and there's a guy that just has his pants all the way around his ankles. Nothing underneath. He took everything down, just sitting there, standing in front of the urinal. And I do not have a bashful bladder, so I peed quickly, and I got out of there. But I just noticed that guy when he came in. He just the guy who was the first class guy walked in, and he was like, "Oh, Jesus Christ! You can sit in first class. You could drive in a Lincoln Town Car. You could get an Uber X. You could go to the finest restaurants, go to the opera, have exclusive country clubs, and do that. But the airport restrooms tells you you're still in it with all of us when you see some fat guy with his pants around his ankles just standing at a urinal. And you just think, there's no amount of money that gets you away from seeing stuff like that. Obviously, there's some guys that don't when they got their private plane and stuff like that. They go in there. But you know what? Eventually, they're going to see it. They're going to have to use it. Even Howard Hughes had to use public bathrooms every so often. Okay. Rental car, chicken Pete's. Oh, let's see. We got a Florida phone call. I'm going to take this phone call, see how important it is. And then I'll tell them to call back. Hello, this is Jim. Oh, that is not my insurance agency. That was interesting. Keys Bartender Rescue. John Taffer. So, whenever John Taffer shows up, realize that the condition of the place you're working in, if it's the first time he shows up, this is a guy from Bar Rescue, it's going to look like shit because he never shows up. You know, whoever was on the shift before you, they're going to tell him, don't clean it. I mean, they may throw some cockroaches in there or something like that, make it disgusting as possible. At least, so the bathrooms and the kitchens will be disgusting. The bar will be disgusting. The employers or employees will be drunk, or all of them be drunk to some and there'll be someone there not knowing how to make a drink and not taking care of customers, and there won't be that many people there because obviously if there's a lot of people there, why the fuck does it need to be rescued, right? Unless a lot of people aren't being charged. So it could be just for a party or something like that. And then you got to get yelled at by John Taffer. And then chances are you're going to be yelled at by John Taffer for whatever, with his fucking annoying voice. And I know, what a great gimmick. I'm not shy of it. I don't think I've been a dick before. I've said stuff before and tell people, may have said something similar to what John Taffer said, but I definitely would not want to be known for being that guy. To be formulaic, to saying, well, I'm going to do this show, talk about how shitty your place is, then I'm going to yell at you and say how poor skill, how poor an owner you are, whether you're not taking care of your employees or you're giving them too much leeway, all this shit. It's going to be negative, 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 and then we're going to do something positive, and if you go along with it, we'll be, oh yeah, and there'll be a dry run we'll do, and you're going to fail. Always fucking fail the first dry one. The second one, you're going to do it where they bring in what do you call it? A test where they open up the place to give people free drinks and stuff like that, and then they shut it down in a second. Because you can't fucking shut it down if it was regular paying customers. You're going to say, shut it down, everyone, get out of here. Your drinks are free. You just go, if your drinks are free, you can shut it down. Drinks, food are free, so you don't have to complain. And why the fuck are you complaining about your drinks being bad when it's free? If you go to a place and something's free, just like going to Golden Corral, if it's unlimited, free, I'm not talking about all you can eat because you got to pay for that stuff, or all you can drink. A lot of times you have to pay, but when you're not charged and you go into a place and have unlimited food and drink, and then you complain about the quality of it, you are an asshole. If it's free, you should. If it's a friend's party, I understand that. But I'm talking about if you walk into a place and it's free and you're surprised at the quality of it, what are you, an asshole? I had a person complain the other day that they don't want to pay more than $1 for coleslaw, so we gave them a small container of it. What the fuck? Silent killers. Someone said Teslas are silent killers because they can sneak up on you. Yeah. Well, anybody can sneak up on you. Fucking ninja can sneak up for you. A bear can sneak up on you. That'd be something. Or a fucking hawk. A couple of weeks ago, I'm watching. It was just a beautiful. I see a beautiful hawk up in the air. You see, because the wings are so forward and stuff like that. And it's just cruising. And there's a pigeon sitting on a... I'm not looking at the pigeon, but I'm just noticing the hawk circling. And all of a sudden you see the hawk kind of turn and the nose dives. And it goes into its death downward, cruising like a buzz bomber coming in. And it's ready to get that pigeon, but the pigeon's too quick and gets moved. It's fucking amazing nature, I'm telling you. Okay, let's go to, what is it, phone book, anachronistic, milkman, potato chip. Oh, milkman. I ever explained, when I still do jokes and require a milkman. And there used to be a guy that used to drive around, or a company drive around, that used to deliver potato chips. Yeah. They give you cans and you exchange cans of potato chips. Imagine that. You get potato chips delivered to your house. I guess because they really didn't figure out a way to really package them and ship them and stuff like that. And the best way to do it was just to put them in cans and give them to people. But we used to get these. It had pictures of potato chips on the outside and stuff like that. But the joke was, for the milkman joke, this guy comes to the door, and he's coming all this time to this house, and it's always like a quart of this, a quart of that, buttermilk, regular milk, and things like that. And all of a sudden he goes one day and he sees 30 gallons of milk. And he goes, holy shit, that's a lot. They're making a big fucking cake or something like that. But he knocks on the door and he says, it's got a mistake. Maybe he made 3 gallons. So he goes up, and this attractive woman comes in and she goes, oh yeah, that's right. 30 gallons of milk is correct. And what I do is, I've been concerned about the quality of my skin. I want to make sure my skin's attractive. So what I do is, what I'm starting to do is I'm taking a bath in my milk. And that's supposed to help my skin. And the driver says, do you want it, how do you want the milk? Do you want the milk pasteurized? And the woman says, no, just up to my tits. Pasteurized. Just up to my tits. And that was the whole fucking setup for that stupid fucking joke. I am so sorry. But we're still off topic. We're still off the topic where you worry about. Let me see, liver transplant guy. Oh. Son pulls over for lack of registration, no license. Wife's 30 years old, locked out. Wow, let me see. Liver transplant guy 3 weeks ago gets his son a car to help him get around. The son gets pulled over for lack of registration, no license. His wife of 30 years is cheating on him, and he looked about 65 years old. Holy shit. Oh my God. What a horrible story. I hope I didn't talk about that. Let me see. Guy breaks because he lost his keys. Punched out rear driver's side window when he can't find keys. They were beneath a bench he sat on. Oh. Well, that's fucked up. You know what? I don't know if I think I was drinking when I was doing these shows. Jennifer, originally from Antigua. Recently, we have heard stories of airline employees behaving badly. A 15-year-old girl taken off the flight due to overbooking. Man taken off flight for suggesting he can get a free drink because of a delay, etc., etc. Airline staffs have it difficult. Oh, okay. Yeah. The airline staffs do have it difficult. Oh, my God. This was prior to... I was talking about how difficult flight attendants had... first of all, people are stressed to go into the air. It's an unnatural thing. You're in an aluminum tube flying 30,000 feet in the air at 500 miles per hour, 550 miles an hour. And there's turbulence and all sorts of shit. People don't want to be up there. All they want to do is get to their place. And some people want to be anesthetized. They want you to get a drink. They want to get food. They want to go to the bathroom. They just want to be quiet. And flight attendants have to deal with that all the time. The pilots are up front. Every so often, someone gets really out of control. They got to send a co-pilot back. That fucking sucks. That's a shitty job, and it's every day, every flight. I mean, I'm imagining that because I don't fly as much as a flight attendant, and there's always someone difficult on a flight that I am. on. So that must mean that happens a fucking lot. So, you know what would be nice? That hasn't changed since COVID. That's even worse. So what I'm going to do I'm going to be signing off right now. I'm going to probably this will be the last episode for today, is ask you, if you are flying, be particularly nice to the flight attendant. Ask them how their day was. If you do need something, ask please. Say thank you when you receive it. If they don't have it, don't castigate them. Sometimes they're not doing the food. They're not doing the food service anymore, so you don't get that, or the drink service, so you're going to have to do that on your own. Well, I'm not saying do that on your own. Get it before you get on the plane. Right? And be nice. Be nice to each other. Be considerate of the person behind you and in front of you. If you're going to move your seat back, consider you be the person to do it. Show an example. There'll be people that they will not pay attention. They don't care. It's always about them. And when something happens, it's personal to them. It's personal. Well, it's not always personal. It's just things that happen. They're not serving food on the flight. They're not serving food to you. They're not serving to anybody. And when they run out of your favorite decaf or anything like that, it's not you. They run out of decaf for everyone else too. So be a little more considerate for people in high-stress jobs, especially flight attendants. I just picked that one first. It was, I used to think that, I want to talk next time about the poor people that work in the retail food service, supermarkets and convenience stores. But for now, I'd like to thank everyone for listening. And if you do listen, share with a friend. Obviously, if you do listen, you listen to me now, right? If you're not fucking watching me. Share it with a friend. Drop me a message on jim@keysbartender.com. I'll respond to it. If you have any questions, if you'd like me to talk about something other than what I've been talking about, I'll consider it, because I'm a considerate person. And until then, take care. Keep your mind off things. Be happy. And remember, Thanksgiving is coming around the corner. So this is Jim the Keys Bartender signing off. I'll talk to you later. I'll talk to you later. Here's the music. Boom.